it's not, we don't have to enjoy necessarily the trials, but we can take joy in knowing that going through that trial would hopefully increase our dependence of, and hopefully even increase our communication with the Lord, depending on your faith, all that kind of stuff. But for me, I love Jesus, and so that's how I frame it. And so, and then also not just from a spiritual perspective, which is for me the most important. It's my foundation. Also from a mental and emotional standpoint, is take joy in knowing that with the right approach, the right mindset, I can actually use that opportunity, that trial, as a gym session, so to speak, to grow my resilience, my mental and emotional, and I would argue spiritual resilience. Welcome to the EQ Gangster Podcast, where you will learn practical tools to grow your mental and emotional health and intelligence to be the best version of yourself, both at work and at home. It is real, raw, and transformational. The journey of emotional growth isn't easy, but it's worth it. I believe in you. This episode is sponsored by Arrowhead Leadership Consulting. What are your organization's biggest pain points right now? Low EQ leaders, weak managers, toxic culture, high turnover, low engagement, leader development, lagging behind company growth, no company career path. Let us know if your organization needs leadership coaching, workshops, training, or keynotes. Visit arrowhead-leadership.com for more details. Arrowhead-leadership.com. EQ Gangsters, what's up? Okay, today is going to be about finding joy in facing adversity and trials because of a chat I'm having with my super kid. Those of y'all that are on YouTube, you saw my kid right there. She has some great thoughts. We did James 5 this morning, and so we started off with patience. Ooh, that's right. Patience versus perseverance. What is the relationship between patience and perseverance? And then the second one is joy in adversity from James 1, chapter 1, verse, I think 2 or 3. Consider pure joy whenever you face trials. Okay, what I'm thankful for today is sunshine. I'm thankful for my awesome kid. I'm thankful for how she thinks and her interests. I'm thankful for her empathy, and she is an amazing friend, which God's been teaching me a lot about with some of my other friends. What does that even mean, right? What does it mean to be a great friend? That's a whole other conversation. I'm thankful for transportation and wheels and lights and clouds and hills and mountains and PT, physical training, exercise, and smiles and eyes and noses and the ability to smell and gyms and trucks and SUVs. Okay, so what does it mean to, so in James 1, consider pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith develops perseverance. And perseverance must finish its work so that you would be mature and complete, something like that. Lacking in nothing, so that you may be mature and complete. Anyway, I got it all mixed up. But so here's the discussion was, so she's got her last semester here of college is going to be very intense, and so let's call that an adversity. Consider trials. Whenever we face trials of many kinds. So that's an upcoming trial that she's got. And of course I've got stuff, right? I've got trials that I'm going through. So how do we not just endure and not just persevere, but how do we, well, it says consider pure joy. How do you consider pure joy? And I'm like, that's not easy for me to do. So she had a great insight. She's like, I don't know that it means, oh, hey, punch me in the face again. This is great. I love getting punched in the face, right? Because I would argue that that's toxic positivity, which I've also had and struggled with because I had no EQ for a long period of my life. So I don't know that it means that. I think it means, but what she said was, it's not, we don't have to enjoy necessarily the trials, but we can take joy in knowing that going through that trial would hopefully increase our dependence of, and hopefully even increase our communication with the Lord. Depending on your faith, all that kind of stuff. But for me, I love Jesus, and so that's how I frame it. And so, and then also not just from a spiritual perspective, which is for me the most important. It's my foundation. Also from a mental and emotional standpoint, is take joy in knowing that with the right approach, the right mindset, I can actually use that opportunity, that trial, as a gym session, so to speak, to grow my resilience, my mental and emotional, and I would argue spiritual resilience. And, using a jujitsu analogy, it's very much like jujitsu. So, I don't know if I've told you guys this story yet, my podcast audience. I did an open mat over Thanksgiving where you roll with a bunch of training partners. And one was a 6'3", 215 pound, 25-year-old purple belt. And another roll was with a 6'1", 210 pound, 28-year-old purple belt. Jack, both of them, Jack. Half my age, stronger, faster, more athletic, etc., etc. So, and they dominated me the entire round. One guy tapped me once. The other guy I rolled with twice. He didn't tap me ever. But they both dominated the round. So was I like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. I love getting my ass kicked by these two monsters. No, not necessarily. Not necessarily was I loving the fact that they were dominating me the entire match. But I did take joy in rolling with people at a higher level than me, that are stronger than me, that are teaching me to survive and defend myself at a different level. So, because I love rolling with those guys. In fact, I love getting the hardest, biggest guys out of the way first, because then everyone else after that is not as scary. If I roll with the monsters first, so I immediately try to go roll with the hardest rolls off the rip. And again, for that reason, because if I can survive against those guys, even though I know they're going to dominate me, if I can survive, man, it's a huge confidence builder for me. So I don't necessarily enjoy getting destroyed, but afterwards I do take joy in man, that felt great to okay, next time I'm going to do this, next time I'm going to do this. I feel like I can take joy in the growth of that adversity or that trial. So anyway, I just thought that was a really interesting thought, and a challenging thought that my daughter had, and I think a very real way of looking at that. We don't have to enjoy the beatdown necessarily, but we can take joy in an increase in dependency on the Lord, hopefully increased communication with the Lord, and just an increase in our mental and emotional resilience, and in jiu-jitsu, physical resilience as well. So what are your thoughts on the relationship between considering it pure joy whenever you face trials of many kinds? And then also that other thought of, what do you think the relationship is between patience and perseverance? And how can you use trials and adversity to help take you to the next level of your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual growth?